Indiana Farmers Coliseum. It's IUPUI basketball here on ESPN Plus as they take on a longtime conference rival. No longer the case as Western Illinois visits on this back end of a 5-game homestand. Alongside Bob Lovell, Greg Rakestraw, thank you so much for joining us for IUPUI and Horizon League basketball. It's an IUPUI team that lost by 13 at Macomb, trying to get a win today and extend what has been their best start in nearly a decade.
Well, obviously they've been playing well lately, and I think the big thing about them is they've started out well, best start they've had since 2009, 2010. Trust each other, like each other. They're playing well defensively, have some potent offensive weapons, and so I think really it's the continuation of being at home, really being comfortable with who you are and what you are, and an important time for them to continue to play well.
And while Western Illinois is a familiar opponent, their leading scorer is a familiar face to basketball fans in Central Indiana. Kobe Webster is their leading scorer, and he played not too far from here at Park Tudor School.
Well, state championship performer from Park Tudor. He's averaging 17 and a half. He leads the team in assists. You see the numbers there. He can really do a lot of different things, Greg. You got to find him in transition. You got to run him off screens, and you've got to find him, and really got to get a lot of help on him because you try to take him man to man. That's a tough ask.
And for the first time since the opening game of the season, someone not named Cameron Justice was a leading scorer last time out for IUPUI. It's Jalen Minette, who had a career-high 28 and went 6 of 7 from three-point range.
Instant offense off the bench, we know that, but the 28, you see him 9 of 11, 6 out of 7 from 3. He's a tremendously talented offensive player. I think he loves the role of coming off the bench and giving the spark. And I think an undersung, really a great defensive player, too, to go with that offensive onslaught.
66 bench points for IUPUI on Wednesday night and a 116-point effort, the most this program had scored in over 18 years. Starting lineups, opening tip-off come your way next as you're watching IUPUI basketball.
People always tell you what not to do. Don't go too fast. Look, but don't touch.
Professor Mohan.
Don't ask questions.
How do we help startups succeed?
So for startup companies, the objective isn't profit.
Don't wake the neighbors. Find out what you can do. IUPUI, fulfilling the promise.
Jason Gardner off to his best start in his 5 seasons as the head coach here at IUPUI. Our lead official in Buddy Mayborn. Set to tip this one off, Evan Hall, staring at someone 5 inches taller than him. That would be the nation's leader in blocked shots in Brandon Gilbeck. He averages 4 of those a game. He won the tap, but DJ McCall did a good job of reading where it was going, and IUPUI has the opening possession of the game. McCall had 25 in Macomb a season ago. Leathernecks beat their old conference rivals 90-77 that day early in the season. Hall realizes the size behind him and thinks, all right, let me kick this back out one more time. Now he'll go to work, but he stumbles and turns the basketball over.
Yeah, you do need to be aware of where Gilbeck is.
Averages 4 block shots a game. The starting lineup you see for head coach Billy Wright in Western Illinois has remained unchanged the entire length of the season. Gilbeck is the lone senior in that starting 5, and honestly, he's the only senior in their 8 or 9-man rotation for the Leathernecks so far on the season. This is Webster, the sophomore from Park Tudor. Wing 3 is good, and that is made by C.J. Duff on the heels of his first career double-double that took place when they last played on Saturday, a loss to Eastern Illinois. Starting 5 for IUPUI has remained unchanged since the season opener. Evan Hall missed that game. This group has started the last 10, and much like most games have started for IUPUI, a basket for Cam Justice.
Well, Cam Justice didn't waste any time. He has the matchup right now, C.J. Duff guarding him. Cam's got maybe an inch or two on him. And both players, their first possessions, knocked down some impressive-looking shots.
Justice has scored 20 or more in 6 of the 10 games for IUPUI, and while the focus is on the blocks for Gilbeck, Elijah Goss offers up one of his own. Spot up from 22. Justice was heading back the other way as that one was going down. And Billy Wright, I think, is going to take this quick timeout just to point out the scouting report saying you might want to focus on the guy wearing number 5.
You couldn't have put it any better. I mean, the timeout is to bring people over here and say, look, on the board, we put the fact that you must find this guy anywhere on the floor. And DJ McCall spots him. It's transition. You can't have low hands. You got to come out and really close him out with high hands, even if he's back that far.
Justice top 40 in the nation in points per game. In fact, to be an exact number, he was 37th coming into today at 20.8 points per game. Looking to become the first IUPUI player to average more than 20 per contest since Alex Young did it 7 seasons ago.
Cam is the kind of guy, Greg, that you have to guard, and you basically have to say, look, you're guarding him. We don't care if you helped an entire soul the entire day we're on the floor. You are in one-on-one mode. The rest of us will play 4-on-4. You have to guard him that tightly.
Man-to-man to start things off for IUPUI. And pressure man-to-man at that. It's a Western team coming in at 4-6 on the season. Their last 2 losses have been tough ones to swallow. Little step back at the elbow is good for C.J. Duff, and he has matched Cam Justice's 5 so far.
Tell you what, the step back at 6'1" against Elijah Goss at 6'7", that's an impressive move.
He is from Waukegan, Illinois. That is basically just south of the Illinois-Wisconsin state border. Hall, and there's Gilbeck, block number 1. Averages 4 per contest, the 7-foot senior out of Wisconsin.
Well, he runs the floor so well. He comes off his man so quickly.
Duff tried to slip the ball to Gilbeck, but stepped on the baseline. First Western Illinois turnover.
How about C.J. Duff? I love this kid. We've been here 3 minutes, and I love this guy. His quickness, he's fearless. It's a good matchup. It's a really good matchup that Western Illinois has on Cam Justice.
Duff at 6'1". He is their 3rd leading scorer on the season, just over 10 points per game. McCall. Good closeout by Gilbeck. And now Weatherford, a long 2. We'll look at it the next time out, but it's a basket nonetheless for Grant Weatherford.
They need him to be able to knock down jump shots from the perimeter. Take some of the pressure off your interior guys and take some of the pressure off Justice.
Here is Webster. Webster had 27 as a freshman a season ago against IUPUI. Catch and shoot over Weatherford. And you can hear from the bench basically saying, Grant, no, don't help on the big. Stay with Webster, able to close out in time and affect the shot.
Recognize the scouting report. You know, you have to play him man-to-man and not allow him to get a return pass.
First game in 7 days for Western. IUPUI played 3. And Hall got it around Gilbeck, but clearly Gilbeck altered the shot.
See, and I think you have to get Gilbeck out on the floor. You know, instead of just being stationary low post, face him up, make him have to guard you. If you try to go back to the basket, that's a tough thing to do against this guy.
Webster got Weatherford in the air. Hall couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, he did. Froze him with the fake. He really did. And Kobe fearlessly going to the rim for the easy 2.
17.5 points per game for Webster. His first basket of the night. 90-77 the score when these two played in Macomb a year ago. Goss for 3, and he has extended that range this season.
Well, Cam Justice turns the corner, kicks back to him, and he feels comfortable with that shot.
Goss now 5 of 13 from 3-point range this year. Duff, clear a little space with the off arm. Officials let him play through some contact. Tough shot that does not go for Isaac Johnson. Johnson, a high school teammate of Jamil Jackson, who is sitting out this year for IUPUI. There's more than one connection between these two teams. There's lots of them. We'll explain those throughout the broadcast. Ball movement crisp for IUPUI. Hall, the rebound, misses again. Fight for the loose ball. Still fighting for it. Goss trying to rip through, but eventually it will be a jump ball, which will give possession to Western Illinois. It feels like these two are still conference rivals the way that they're diving at it. We'll take this quick timeout. When we come back, it'll be Western Illinois basketball as the Jaguars lead by 3.
My mom works for Chevy. My dad works for Chevy.
We're all part of the Chevy family.
And right now, so are you.
Because our Chevy employee discount is now available to everyone.
Even you.
The Chevy price you pay is what we pay.
And not a cent more.
Welcome to the family.
The Chevy family.
Use your employee discount for everyone to get a total value of $12,500 on this Silverado when you finance with GM Financial.
See your Tri-State Chevy dealers.
Our new hot, fresh breakfast will get you the readiest. Holiday Inn Express. Book now for at least 20% off during our annual sale.
Billy Wright in that Western Illinois huddle. It's his 5th year as the Western Illinois head coach. He has spent 10 of the last 11 seasons in Macomb. But before that, he spent a lot of time in this state because he is a native of Richmond, a 1992 Indiana All-Star. Fantastic 4 years at Bradley in the mid-90s. He was briefly the head coach at Pike High School here in Indianapolis and also a former assistant at Ball State.
Well, everybody loves Billy Wright. I mean, if you're in our state and you know him, you know his pedigree, and you just rattled it off. And I'll tell you what, he was a tremendous player. He's had success everywhere he's been. There's a reason why. His kids play hard for him. Love what he does in terms of his schemes, and he's just doing a great job. There's no question what he's doing for the Leathernecks.
By the way, officials did come and check the jump shot by Grant Weatherford. It was correctly ruled as a 2, right foot on the line. So the score remains what it was as we went to break, 10-7 IUPUI.
Yeah, but it's still an important basket for him. You need those other perimeter scores. Now, speaking of other perimeter scores, Jalen Manette in the lineup. And let's see if he can continue what he did on Wednesday.
Jags will also match size for size as they'll bring Ahmed Ishmael into the game. Their 7'1" senior from Egypt to face the 7-foot Gilbeck. And Ishmael did a great job of closing out on Johnson, but Gilbeck was there for the putback.
You know, you play well defensively, you just can't come up with the loose ball.
Gilbeck had a career-high 13 rebounds last Saturday in the loss to Eastern Illinois. Western has lost each of their last 2 games despite having 16-point leads in each of those 2 games. Ishmael and Gilbeck got him on the wrist. Ahmed Ishmael will shoot 2.
I'm not sure Ahmed's going to play anybody taller than he is this year. Just like it. You go right to him, and you see high-low. You clear out space. I mean, he makes the right turn. Good move to draw 2, and hopefully he can knock down these free throws, which he's done pretty well.
Ishmael on the season, 71% from the line, but could not get that one to go. During the break for Western Illinois, Jeremiah Useosefi checked into the contest, and now Zion Young into the game as well. So both teams going to their benches early in this one, and Ishmael leaves a pair of free throws at the line. Jags as a team, 71% from the stripe. So an empty possession for IUPUI. Weatherford draws a defensive assignment on Webster, who then fires over Ishmael for 3.
Big time hoop. You know, great job to come back after he was made a little contact on the screen, and that's a tough shot to defend, Greg.
Webster went 5 of 7 from 3-point range against the Jaguars a season ago. The cut by Goss, tough shot, and got it to go.
Great cut by Elijah Goss in the finish. You see now that, you know, C.J. Duff is basically playing Cam Justice one-on-one. He's oblivious to the other 4 players on the court.
And a moving screen coming on Gilbeck, and that's a big one because that's his 2nd foul.
It is a big one, and it's a good call. You know, you just have to maintain your positioning as best you can. You see Elijah Goss go to space. When your guy, you can see some space, fill that space. The catch, it's a tough little runner right in there, but, you know, the idea is if you see an opening, move to it.
Aggressive man-to-man by Western. Gilbeck takes a seat. Ishmael goes right at him and scores. The player that just checked in for Western Illinois was Jordan Hughes, a somewhat sparingly used 6'10" senior. And Ishmael gets his first points of the game.
Well, he went right to it. I mean, you love his aggressiveness on the catch and then on the turn.
Turnover by Western Illinois. Justice, Manette, Goss.
Great turnover. Great turnover. Transition opportunity. Tremendous pass by Cam Justice.
6 straight points for IUPUI, and Goss has 7 to lead all scores. Webster, contested 3.
Oh, my goodness. Come on, Kobe.
Manette, spot up 3 of his own. Open gym is officially underway at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum.
Well, you know what? In transition, Jalen Manette can make that shot as well as anybody in this building right now. And how about Kobe Webster under pressure for the deep 3?
Manette's three-point shooting on the season went from 28% to 34% on the basis of going 6 for 7 from three-point range on Wednesday night. And there was a whistle away from the ball. I think it goes against IUPUI. It'll be on Cam Justice, and that will lead us to the media timeout. Both teams kind of feeling things offensively right now, especially when Elijah Goss can look down at the basket like this.
Life's too short to drive a car you hate. Get a car you love at drivehubler.com, because Hubler is the dealer that helps the people. For over 50 years, the Hubler family has helped Hoosier families get approved. We have over 40 eager lenders ready to approve you. Then shop certified used vehicles starting at $49.95, all with a 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let Hubler help you now. Click drivehubler.com or call 1-888-377-5588.
Come in, click, or call. Hubler has it all.
It's always out there. The horizon. A reminder that our greatest goals are rarely attained. And as soon as you reach one, another emerges. But every day we rise and work harder, dig deeper, ask one more question, take one more shot in relentless pursuit of our horizon.
People always tell you what not to do. Don't go too fast. Look, but don't touch.
Professor Mohan,
Don't ask questions.
how do we help startups succeed?
So for startup companies, the objective isn't profit.
Don't wake the neighbors. Find out what you can do. IUPUI, fulfilling the promise.
5th consecutive home game for IUPUI. After today, they are not here for close to 4 weeks. It'll be January the 10th. The next time that IUPUI is at home, they'll be on the road for the next 5. But they've then got another 5-game homestand coming up at the end of January and into early February.
Well, and as most teams do, they play well in this building. So playing at home is a key, especially in your conference play.
Webster now draws DJ McCall on the defensive assignment at 6'6". Jack Hansen in the game for the first time for IUPUI, and Western Illinois' Hughes, unfortunately, has turned the ball over the last couple of times he's touched it.
Well, and it's just a missed opportunity because he has a wide open look inside.
Nick Rogers into the game as well. Rogers had a new career high on Wednesday night in the victory against IU Northwest, and Ishmael go into his Evan Hall bag of tricks. A bump, a spin, and a turn, and to the free throw line he goes.
Well, it's a good move. I mean, he had him set up to where he's going to drop step and go back to his right shoulder, and saw the defender made that double move a la Evan Hall and got the foul.
We've already referenced scouting reports a couple of times on today's broadcast. I love the fact that literally as soon as Gilbeck left the game, ball's gone down low every time for IUPUI in the half court.
Well, I mean, you're going against a guy in Gilbeck who leads the nation in block shots, and then obviously when he's out, take advantage of who the defender is. And Ahmed has an advantage, a little bit of a height advantage and certainly a strength advantage inside.
Webster going to work immediately. This is Duff, who had the first 5 points of the game for Western. Webster over McCall, third 3.
You think he likes coming back to Indianapolis?
I think he likes playing the team from Indianapolis.
I think he really does.
He's now got 11 of the Western 18. He has the last 11 for Western Illinois. Manette, nifty move.
Nifty is right. Do you slice through and you go to your left, using the basket as a rim protector. We think of him as a three-point shooter. I think of him as a scorer who can score a lot of different ways.
66% of his shots have been from outside the arc this season. A rare foray into the lane for Jalen Manette, but it comes up successful. Hughes got fouled by Ishmael.
Well, it's a little bit of Western Illinois going back at IUPUI, throwing the ball inside, trying to get something generated in the interior. With the Hughes on the catch, Ahmed breaking that principle of verticality with his left arm.
Hughes gets the free throw to roll in. Senior from the Chicago suburbs, Schaumburg, Illinois. One of 7 Illinois natives on this Western Illinois roster. And makes them both, does the big fella. So both these teams able to bring in size off the bench. 7-1 for IUPUI, 6-10 for Western Illinois.
Both teams similar offense, ball screen motion.
Manette, not that time. Good crash by Hansen, but the freshman touched it last, out of bounds to Western.
Manette got a little quick, did not get himself fully squared. You see here, Western Illinois, a lot of big on little screens, a lot of ball screen motion activity on both sides.
Those free throws made by Hughes, the first free throws attempted by Western Illinois today, and Zion Young got in too big of a hurry. Steps call.
Well, he recognizes he has Jack Hansen with him, and he's got a free side. Nobody in the low post, and so he got just a little too quick for himself in the move.
Johnson back in the game for West Illinois. Quick give and go to the post. Ishmael around Hughes for the basket, and Ishmael's got 6.
Nicely done. You throw back out of the post, you take a step to relocate, you got the ball back, makes a nice turn.
What is typically a strength for IUPUI continues. 11 bench points already for IUPUI. Block by McCall, out of bounds off the senior.
A heck of a block by DJ McCall, and you see him. He recognizes that he has an opportunity, and he waits until the ball's in the air and gets the block.
Webster tries. What a tip. Hughes, just his second field goal of the season.
Yeah, it was a great tip.
Despite leading his team in points, Webster does average 3.5 assists a game as well. Hansen for 3. Freshman couldn't knock it down.
Good look, though. You like him, going high-low, kick it to him. He's got some space.
Freshman from Garin Catholic High School. Webster, step back from 18.
I'm surprised that they'd pass it to anybody other than Kobe Webster right now, Greg. Why not just let him shoot?
Living up to his namesake, he's got 13. Ishmael fouled. Good recognition by Hansen.
I like it. High-low, open up some space, throw to your big guy. Throw. It's a pretty nicely executed look. High-low with Hansen. Ahmed a little out further than what you'd like him to be, but again, he's got some space. There's no weak side help in there.
Now if you're Western Illinois, both of your bigs have 2 fouls, both Gilbeck and Hughes.
You love the approach, the game plan to work inside as much as you can.
Cam Justice returns. Jalen Manette. Each player with 5 points as they exchange positions. Manette, the second leading scorer for IUPUI at 11.5 points a game. Ishmael now will exit as Hall will return. And
great minutes.
Ahmed Ishmael with 8 points, already over his season average of 7 per game.
That's a productive time out on the floor right there. Very, very well done. Missed those first 2 free throws and then came back and has played very well.
Johnson. Now Webster gets the ball in his hands. And he'll draw the hand check foul on DJ McCall. Just the 3rd foul whistled against IUPUI.
Pretty easy call to make. DJ trying to just get his hands in and create a little opportunity for himself. Gets caught for it.
Between Weatherford and McCall, you feel good about the guys you can assign to Webster on defense. But he still has 13 and 12 minutes.
Well, I mean, you have Weatherford, McCall, and Justice, who are all pretty good on-ball defenders, and he's still, as you pointed out, he's torched everybody.
Offensive foul. Cam Justice was there waiting on him as he turned the corner.
Big foul. Basket was good. Big foul by Cam Justice.
And that will lead us to the media timeout. Justice known for his offense, his defense paying dividend for IUPUI. Jaguars lead by 3.
Life's too short to drive a car you hate. Get a car you love at DriveUbler.com because Ubler is the dealer that helps the people. For over 50 years, the Ubler family has helped Hoosier families get approved. We have over 40 eager lenders ready to approve you. Then shop certified used vehicles starting at $49.95, all with a 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Let Ubler help you now. Click DriveUbler.com or call 1-888-377-5588.
Come in, click, or call. Hubler has it all.
It's always out there. The horizon. A reminder that our greatest goals are rarely attained. And as soon as you reach one, another emerges. But every day we rise and work harder, dig deeper, ask one more question, take one more shot in relentless pursuit of our horizon.
Singer Rachel Michael needed a radical thyroidectomy, a surgery that threatened her vocal cords and her dream. But the highly skilled surgeons of IU Health knew singing was Rachel's life, and they wouldn't let the music die. The highest level of skill, a more personalized approach to care. This changes everything.
Back inside the Indiana Farmers Coliseum, Greg Rakestraw, Bob Lovell with you. As you're watching IUPUI basketball, we'll look forward to catching up with one of the new members of the IUPUI Jaguars, young man who won't be eligible until next year, in Marcus Burke at halftime. Outstanding shooter from Franklin Central High School that spent his first 2 seasons playing down at Campbell in North Carolina.
Greg, both these teams, if you see, the advantage point we have is watching it courtside, and you think both teams are playing hard defensively. Explain to me how both teams are shooting 64 and 63% respectively, because they're making some really tough shots.
Both teams have guys that can knock it down
like that. Oh,
didn't make that
spoke
one.
too soon. Maybe the cleanest look Cam Justice is going to get all day.
His first missed field goal in 3 tries. Jaguars coming off of back-to-back wins against non-Division I competition. IU Kokomo and IU Northwest. Johnson's pull-up does not go. Hughes with the offensive rebound and scores, and Hughes had 4 points on the season coming in. He's got 6 in the first half.
Well, a long rebound that the Jags couldn't corral.
Third offensive rebound for Western Illinois. Rogers the pull-up. Not that time, but goes right to Evan Hall. And Hall draws a foul on Hughes. Now, I had Hughes as having 2, but apparently another foul went to a different player, so that is now Hughes' 2nd foul.
Well, it's an impressive rebound for Evan Hall. I mean, Hughes not able to corral that long rebound Evan Hall was, and now we see, you know, the dilemma we face at the free throw line.
Hall in the season, 8 of 29. 8 of 30. Hansen and Rogers will step out as Weatherford and Goss return.
Well, Coach Gardner's rotated now. He's got his starters back in, giving them some good minutes. His 9-man rotation as usual. He's gone through it, and now went back to the starting 5.
If Evan can average those 2 shots out, he's got something. A little bit strong, a little bit short. Chance for Western to go back in front. On the backdoor cut, Weatherford there for the block.
Well, set a little staggered screen up on the left side, and then Hughes is able to slip it. It's a nicely designed play and pretty well executed. The big man, you'll see him here. You'll see Hughes slipping the screen. Hall doesn't get a chance to go with him. Rotation just a little bit behind.
Hughes now 3 of 3 from the free throw stripe.
How about him making the most of this time? Seriously, he's playing very well.
He has now a new career high in points and there's 6:49 left to go in the first half. And now he will exit. As coming in to replace him will be James Clare. Again, Hughes with 2 fouls. Clare comes in, and he will face his high school teammate. He and Elijah Goss played at Plainfield East High School in the Chicago suburbs.
Well, they've decided to go a little bit smaller with this lineup. And Clare comes in at 6'8".
Weatherford takes the bump from Webster. Good hustle by McCall to keep the possession alive. Good drive by Weatherford. Clare, though, is there with the block.
All right, so Clare may give up a couple inches, but certainly does not give up a few inches on the vertical. That's a great block. You just see him, he comes off, he leaves. Look at him. Obviously, his quickness is a factor, and you need to be aware of that.
The oop for Hall, and he got fouled.
I think he took his eye off of it just momentarily. What a great pass, though. A well-designed inbound play. You know, they're muscled up against Cam Justice. They're playing him one-on-one denial if they can. It's just nicely done.
Not that time for Evan. As his free throw percentage has now dropped to 25% on the year.
It's one of those things, Greg. He makes free throws in practice, and it's easy for all of us to say, well, just concentrate or do this or do that. His mechanics are inconsistent, but the biggest thing is it's a mental situation for him. Here's your staggered screen again, out front. Get a little different look for the Leathernecks.
Johnson.
Oh, my.
Good take.
Oh, my.
His first basket.
Well, you've got your staggered, and once you're out of that, you're going motion, and the motion basically was Isaac Johnson going one-on-one to the rim.
6 in a row for Western Illinois.
And it's a great comeback now.
And this matches their largest lead of the game. The rare kick pass from Cam Justice.
Well, the biggest difference in this run has been IUPUI's inability to get something on the offensive end. Western Illinois has done a better job of ramping up their pressure. I think IUPUI has settled for some shots that they probably could have passed up on, make an extra pass, get something else going.
Well, now for Western Illinois, Gilbeck, Clare, and Hughes all have 2 fouls apiece.
Well, you leave Clare because you think he's your most expendable right now. Let him, if he picks up his third, he picks up his third. You're going to have to manage that without question as the second half. We get into the second half.
And Evan Hall makes his first free throw in 5 tries.
Big smile on his face. Teammate, look at him.
See if it can be the rare 2-for-2 trip for Evan. Not that time. But Western Illinois throws the basketball away. An unnecessary turnover, their 7th of the game.
Your classic unforced turnover.
Ben Pyle will return for Western, replacing Johnson.
Now they met Pyle in the matchup with Grant Weatherford. Interesting. Maybe you can take advantage of this because it's a 3-guard lineup with IUPUI.
Hall goes right to work on Clare, knowing he's playing with 2 fouls, and goes right at him.
That's good. It's just good recognition on the part of the entire team. Throw him the ball, let him do something.
6 different Jaguars have scored so far. Now Justice draws a defensive assignment on Kobe Webster. And Duff led with his shoulder. Offensive foul drawn by Grant Weatherford.
And there's Grant Weatherford again, stepping in, making a defensive play when you need him to. Not afraid to step in there. And you'll see him on ball. And he's great pressure, great sales job.
Yes.
So go the other way.
Salesmanship is some of the course load that Grant Weatherford has taken during his academic days. His 2nd year at IUPUI. Fadeaway jump shot by Hall. We don't normally see that as part of the repertoire.
Well, no, go right back to it. Go back to him, make Clare have to guard him.
A 5-point run for IUPUI, all from Evan Hall. And Useo Sefi drew some contact from Elijah Goss. Couldn't get it to go. Pyle there for the putback. First points for Pyle, the Mr. Basketball in the state of Kansas a year ago.
Well, just, you know, you have two players in IUPUI kind of collide with each other. Now you don't have anybody to rotate over.
Justice knocked away by Duff. And the jump ball will have the arrow keep it with IUPUI.
C.J. Duff has defended Cam Justice as well as anyone we've seen to this point, Greg. He is, I think he's got the quickness, the strength. He's playing him one-on-one denial. It's how you have to play someone of that caliber.
Duff had the first 5 points for Western. He's been more focused on the defensive end since then. And Justice trying to go to work around him as best he can. Kick ball against the Leathernecks. And it'll be out of bounds to IUPUI with some extra ticks in the shot clock when we come back from the immediate timeout. This one's been a scrappy affair. 32 apiece between Western Illinois and IUPUI.
Our new hot, fresh breakfast will get you the readiest. Holiday Inn Express. Book now for at least 20% off during our annual sale.
Ready? Absolutely.
All-time meeting between these two teams. They have played every year since IUPUI made the jump to Division I some 20 years ago. Conference rivals in the Mid-Con and then Summit League for 19 years. And IUPUI prosperous over the years against Western Illinois. They are 32-16 against Leathernecks all time, and once went nearly 9 years without a loss against Western. Although, again, the Leathernecks won last year's matchup in Macomb by 13, a game in which they led by 24 at halftime. Shot clock in single digits. It'll be Goss, a 2. Elijah Goss with 9.
It is not a textbook-looking jump shot, Greg. It's more of a set shot, but it's effective for Elijah Goss. You need... That's an element that really makes your team better when a guy with his skills can step out and knock down jump shots.
Well, set shot Buford is the fish that's saving IUPUI right now, as the Jaguars lead by a bucket, and Goss is 4 of 4 from the floor. Duff for 3. Good look that rattles out.
Well, you had Kobe Webster with great penetration be able to kick out to an open three-point shooter. And look, you see a denial again on the part of C.J. Duff, and his on-ball defense is spectacular on Cam Justice.
What an effective 30-second timeout that Billy Wright took early in the game. Good dive by Goss. He's 5 for 5 from the field.
How about the bigs working off each other? You know, Elijah Goss, again, recognizing space. When you get the double team in the post, someone's got to fill in the space.
So now Manette draws the assignment on Webster. And Ishmael there for the rejection.
Got it.
Great hustle by Pyle, though, to keep the possession alive.
Everybody's got to match up now.
For Western. Useo Sefi, no.
That's a great defensive possession for IUPUI. I mean, look at, in terms of the block, you come off and you see in frame, here come Ahmed. Look at him. Winds up. May have been some contact after, was some contact after the shot. Better angle. That's just great defense. Come off your guy, get there quickly. How about the big guy moving as quickly as we've seen him?
The leading scorers today for IUPUI, Goss and Ishmael. Those guys are 4th and 5th on the season in terms of points scored. But at the same time, IUPUI has had 9 different players score at least in double figures one time this year. But it would have taken someone of Ahmed's size in the perimeter to catch that pass. And for IUPUI, that is just their 2nd turnover of the game.
Say that one more time. 2 turnovers, you get 2:01 on the clock. That's pretty impressive in terms of what they've done offensively while shooting the ball over 50%.
Now Johnson goes to work on Ishmael. Good seal set by Claire.
Well, again, it's that staggered screen. You know, you pass, go guard wing, you get the staggered screen from the wing guy, and then you slip it and things can be created. Obviously beneficial to Western Illinois.
Both these teams have had a good answer for having option 1 taken away. I say that Webster's got 13 as Manette fires over Webster and couldn't get it to go. But the last 10 points for Western have been scored by players not named Kobe Webster. Blocking foul going to be called against DJ McCall, his second, and free throws coming for Western Illinois.
Yeah, it's a great point, though, Greg, because it's both teams. Their star players have been held in check, if you will. Webster got off early in these last 4 or 5 minutes. He's been held in check. Cam Justice got the first 5 hoops, first 5 points for IUPUI have been held in check. But you look at what Ishmael has done and Goss has done for IUPUI, and you look at the others who have played and picked up their game for Western Illinois.
Johnson gets the benefit of gravity. He is an 82% free throw shooter.
He had every bit of that rim. Not one part of the surface wasn't hit by the ball.
14 points per contest, 6 rebounds per game. He is their second leading rebounder as the 6'5 sophomore from Minneapolis.
Jags are going smaller now with Weatherford, so you got your back. You got 3 guards, Manette, Justice, and Weatherford with the 2 bigs.
And these two teams have been unable to separate from one another so far in this first half. Manette had it stripped and off his hands, out of bounds to Western Illinois.
We talk about Kobe Webster's offensive skills. How about the defensive play that he makes right there to strip Jalen Manette, create the turnover?
So now Weatherford will draw the defensive assignment on Webster. Johnson going right at Goss. Goss got a piece. Webster's all alone. Johnson never saw him. But then Ishmael caught the rebound, had not established position back in the court just yet, which will lead to a shot clock reset for Western Illinois.
Isaac Johnson hoping for the foul. You'll see it here, hoping for the foul. Ahmed did nothing better, nothing more than just stay straight up. That's good defense. Good defense. He was out of bounds, did not establish position inbounds, so it's a turnover.
But because he didn't have position inbounds, it's not a shot clock reset. So it's Western inbounds. It's at 9. Webster didn't need 9 seconds. Claire wave it off over the back, and that's his third.
Good job. Cam Justice tries to keep him off, and that's good job. Good defensive possession again. Significant. Now, do you let him have? You got 38 seconds. Leave him. You know, he has 3. Let him play.
So 10th team foul against Western Illinois. And 2 shots, right? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a player control foul,
No,
so
it's exactly
2 shots.
Right. You're exactly right.
So Cam Justice to the free throw line to shoot 2. So Justice has not scored since the first 90 seconds of the game. But now we'll get a look. And Justice, while he has not been able to manufacture much offensively because of the great defensive effort. Take over, Bob.
Well, the officials are here. We're just taking a look at that last foul and see exactly what it was, what happened in terms of in terms of this foul, as it is with Cam Justice at the free throw line. So we're going to take a look at it right now. The shot by Kobe Webster might be the easiest shot he's had that they didn't make. And so just double checking to see which shooter it is. They have it right with Cam Justice. Just double checking. And again, surprisingly, with Webster missing that because he's knocked down some much more difficult shots to this point.
Webster now 5 of 7 from the floor, continuing his torrid shooting against IUPUI over the last couple of seasons. And he had 27 points and 8 assists in Western's 90-77 victory against IUPUI last year in non-conference play. So double bonus here for Justice. 89% free throw shooter. He's had games where he has made 13 of 13 and 15 of 15 for IUPUI this year from the stripe. Young man that scored just shy of 3,600 points in his high school basketball career. He and Evan Hall teammates at Knott County Central in far eastern Kentucky. 8-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Pyle on the take and make.
Pretty impressive move now. Really impressive move from the wing, and not impressive defensive effort to let a guy go uncontested from the left wing to the rim.
And then Johnson picks up a blocking foul.
Yeah, not sure why you get that
right.
foul.
Knowing that IUPUI was going to hold for one shot.
Yeah, I mean, a unique way of getting a 2-for-1, I suppose.
71% shooter is Grant.
Yikes.
But barely drew rim on that one.
Yikes. I mean, Grant himself is a little bewildered at his technique on that shot.
Got that one to slice in. He's now got 3 points and a chance for Leathernecks to take the lead to halftime with a bucket here. Pyle again drives on Goss and scores again.
Man, just throw it to him and get out of the way.
And then a turnover as the clock expires for the half, and both teams content to get to the locker room. So Western Illinois will take a 1-point lead to the break. Our score, Leathernecks 40 and IUPUI 39. Halftime highlights, stats, and a special guest all come your way in a matter of moments as you're watching IUPUI and Horizon League basketball right here on ESPN+.
Our new hot, fresh breakfast will get you the readiest. Holiday Inn Express. Book now for at least 20% off during our annual sale.
Ready? Absolutely.
And I think if you're upset, if you're Jason Gardner, clearly you're upset at those points in the paint coming off rebounds. And I think that there's something about that, some long rebound opportunities. But you got to track some things down. 5 guys have to go to the glass on the defensive end.
And heading in those numbers for IUPUI, 3 of 8's not bad from three-point range, but frankly, because of Justice and Manette, they usually take more threes. So the fact that Cam Justice isn't getting that many looks is why those three-point numbers are down.
It's significant because, as you point out, Greg, the 3 is a major part of the arsenal that IUPUI has on a regular basis.
Brandon Gilbeck back in the game for Western Illinois. He sat after picking up 2 fouls just 7 minutes in.
Which was significant because here's a guy who leads the nation in block shots, as we pointed out, but he's also an active offensive player. I mean, he sets screens, gets to the rim.
The big part of the story for Western Illinois, Jordan Hughes, only playing in his 6th game of the year, 6'10 senior, picked up 8 points in the first half. Hall meets Gilbeck at the point of attack for a block. Tries it again, couldn't get the second one to go.
That's great defense by Evan Hall, just staying up straight.
And Justice off to the races. No, but it will be out of bounds to IUPUI.
Well, you like him being aggressive coming out of the locker room. I think he kind of, it didn't force anything in the first half, to his credit, because the great defense of C.J. Duff has taken him out after that first flurry.
Catch and shoot for Justice, not that time. Tried to catch and tried to shoot that one before he really wasn't set coming off that screen.
Because he knew right behind him was C.J. Duff. C.J. Duff's kind of in his head right now, let's face it. I mean, he's really bodied up on him well. His quickness is able to negate what Cam's trying to do.
Duff has somewhat sacrificed his offensive game But it's been a good trade out, what he's done defensively to shut down Justice.
Well, he has, but it's been picked up by Ben Pyle. It's been picked up, obviously, by Isaac Johnson.
Well, forget that offensive statement. He just found points to start the second half.
Just on cue.
He had the first 5 points for Western Illinois, had not scored since, and one opportunity here.
Well, he's such a tough matchup because of his quickness and his strength. See what I mean? Play through the contact. You know, he got into the lane quickly with that left hand, and no one there to slow him down.
Duff averaging over 10 points a game. Not a guy that gets to the line a lot.
Right.
He has 13 of 15 from the stripe on the season. Junior from Waukegan, Illinois. And does not get the friendly bounce. First missed free throw in just 7 tries for Western in this game. Jags been to the line more, but have not made that many more. They're 8 of 16 from the stripe, in part because Evan Hall has tried 6 and made 1. Justice, Goss, there's Gilbeck.
Just what you great offense, and then there's Gilbeck. Leads the nation in block shots.
Duff the pull-up 2, got it.
Right now, though, you're down 5, and Western Illinois quietly putting a little run together because you've had empty possession since you came out of the locker room.
Largest lead of the game for Western Illinois. Timeout being called by Cam Justice. It'll be a 30. It'll turn to a full. It's probably a good break for IUPUI because Western has the better of it out of the locker room to start the second half. Leathernecks looking for their 5th win of the season. They lead at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum by 5.
Ready? Absolutely. I think my ride's due for an upgrade.
There's more than one way to fly. Hurry in for great deals at the Dodge Big Finish event.
Jason Gardner looking to close out this homestand with a 4th win in 5 tries. Lost to Ball State here 2 weeks ago in their last game against Division I competition. McCall on the bounce. Up and over Gilbeck, couldn't get it to go.
Well, again, 4 shot. I mean, you 1 and out. The aggressor, as you pointed out, Greg, clearly in this half is Western Illinois.
Step back by Johnson. Nice move.
But again, you're allowing people into the lane on the dribble, and bad things will happen to you if you keep going that way.
Largest lead for either side in this game now belongs to Western at 7. And Justice, moving screen called against Evan Hall.
See, again, it goes back, I think, on the defensive end to the outstanding job C.J. Duff is doing on Cam Justice. I mean, it has disrupted the flow of this offense of IUPUI. Others obviously have to step up, and to this point, in this half, they haven't done it.
Can Western Illinois close one out again? In their last 2 games, they have lost after leading by 16 points against Stetson and EIU.
See, and that's just an astounding stat because those are not 2 overwhelming teams.
Weatherford with the block. It'll be out of bounds to Western.
Great defense. Evan Hall holding his position. Grant Weatherford coming off his man to get the block. You see it here. I mean, you get just stay up straight. Don't foul. Well done.
Good job by Hall to pressure the inbounds pass. And Weatherford gets the steal. Throw it up top to Goss, who could not catch the oop, and that's been an indication of how this half has gone for IUPUI.
You give away 2. You just gave away 2.
On the dive, Gilbeck scores.
And that's one of those 4-point plays that you talk about. The 2 you didn't get and the 2 they did to bump it up to 9.
And Manette and Ishmael have to check in for IUPUI. Jaguars yet to score here in the half. McCall, an uncontested 3. Again, not normally his forte. And Webster. It hasn't scored in a while, but frankly, that has not deterred Western Illinois.
You're going to need to get an easy one. Get something going.
McCall went to the left hand and drew the foul on Pyle. And so free throws coming for DJ McCall, who has yet to crack the scoring column today.
Well, you see, on this play, trying to get in, trying to throw it up with your left hand, draws the foul off the rebound. So you're trying to get something created in transition instead of having to slug it out at half court, 5-on-5. Try to get some easy ones.
McCall, a 68% free throw shooter. As the Jags continue to leave points at the free throw line. Hall will exit. Ishmael enters.
This is not a good start at all. Not the start you absolutely want.
McCall misses them both. And then Weatherford ended up taking an elbow from Gilbeck, but it was Weatherford that got into his space, and Weatherford gets whistled for the foul.
Right. That's a tough one. Grant just in there trying to get something going, trying for the steal. And
I think he's got a bloody nose.
I'm not at all surprised, and not also surprising is that the officials are going to take a look at that. Anytime you have a situation with an elbow, that's exactly what they're going to try to look at right now as two of the officials make their way to our vantage point here courtside. And you can see, I think, Grant Weatherford, and you see the rebound by Gilbeck, and then the turn, and he turns back in. And I think that's just inadvertent contact, as we like to talk about. Well done by our crack staff. So, Craig, if you're Jason Gardner, you're talking to your guys, look, I know we haven't scored, but let's get going defensively. Let's get some things, create some things off our defense and can get us some transition opportunities. Offensively, stay in the structure. Don't force it. Make the extra pass. You don't have to force things. They're defending you well. Don't fight the pressure. Get some backdoor opportunities. Again, you always tell kids when they're, if pressure is what they're trying to do to you, obviously, don't fight it. Make an extra pass, make a cut, do some other things.
Johnson for 3. But Gilbeck had position. Webster for 3. First miss may not be that surprising. The second one was.
Missed opportunity that didn't happen very much for for Western Illinois.
Justice.
There you go. Maybe that gets him started. But again,
it wasn't like Duff left him a lot of room.
No, I mean, he had to work for that. He had to literally get some separation with that left hand to get some space.
Justice now in double figures for a 9th consecutive game. That's his first field goal since the first 2 minutes of the game. And Gilbeck moving screen.
Yeah, he never set. I mean, he gets the ball screen and then just continues to move on toward the basket. That's a pretty easy call.
And that is his 3rd foul. Let's see how that affects the game when we come back. Jaguars trying to get back in it. Trailing by 6 here at the Indiana Farmers College.
Ready? Absolutely.
I think my ride's due for an upgrade.
There's more than one way to fly. Hurry in for great deals at the Dodge Big Finish event.
For IUPUI, they will be on the road for 2 more non-conference games before Horizon League play tips off in 13 days at Northern Kentucky. Jaguars almost gave one away. They will play at Purdue Fort Wayne on Tuesday as they play back-to-back old conference rivals from the Summit League. Then they will play at Morehead State on Saturday. Ishmael. There's Gilbeck with another block. Ishmael, no. Goss, yes.
See, you think that's maybe one of those plays, Greg, those energy kind of plays. You know, with Goss on the putback, great hustle, great effort by Ishmael to get the ball on the rim.
The high percentage finish by Elijah Goss. He's got 13 to lead the IUPUI effort. Gilbeck. McCall got him from behind, but Ishmael got him with the foul up front, and Gilbeck will shoot two.
We want to see hard work. Here's Ishmael with the ball up on the rim. Nobody gets a body on Elijah Goss for an easy putback. Now you're going to go to Gilbeck down at the other end. Going to him, going to your big guy. You know, get him engaged, get some touches inside.
Gilbeck, a 64% free throw shooter. Gilbeck, one of those guys that feels like he's been at Western Illinois for a decade.
He does. Oh, you're right.
Having seen him play in conference play up until the last couple of years. By the way, Elijah Goss has matched his career high with 13 points in this afternoon's game. Manette, tough shot. And Ishmael going to get called for climbing the back, and that'll be his third foul.
All right, so here you are down 6, all right, and you've struggled in this first half. You get one pass on the left wing. Manette dribbles all the way to the right side for a forced shot. You could just let things come to you. Don't need to force, just let them come to you.
Jaguars have not led here in the second half. But then Western gives it away. And that is part of the reason why IUPUI, frankly, is still in this one. Although, is that going to be called against IUPUI, that an IUPUI player touched it last?
Yes, that's what the decision is. I mean, I actually thought that's what it was to begin with.
Webster. Ball was kicked by Justice, so some extra time goes on the 30-second shot clock.
Western Illinois came out of the locker room, Greg, pretty spirited. They've shot the ball well.
Johnson through the screen, no, and Ishmael, good job to rotate down and grab the ball.
Ishmael continues to give you quality minutes.
Low block, Goss. Pyle got a piece. Goss went back at Gilbeck, and Gilbeck yet another block.
Again, you know, you're trying, you're working hard, but you got to remember this guy leads the country in block shots.
Webster can't find the rhythm right now. Justice thought he got hit on the flyby, wouldn't get the call. But the ball does bounce IUPUI's way off a Western Illinois player out of bounds.
See, you know, as a coach, it drove me crazy. Logically, this guy's not going to miss he's not going to miss the rim by that much. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, it has to be a foul. It just, if you think logically of the situation, he just didn't shoot it that badly. He got fouled.
Goss and McCall take a breather.
That's why I don't do that anymore, Greg.
Weatherford returns with a little gauze in his nose. Jack Hansen on the floor for the first time this half. Manette, no. Manette, 28 points on Wednesday. Has 5 points all in the first half today.
Oh, my.
The lane opens for Webster.
Whew.
And I think he surprised himself as to how open he was.
You know, the hesitation.
Justice, no. Ishmael, yes.
Way to run the floor. Way to run the floor. Big fella down to the end to end. Big basket, cuts it to 4.
Both teams seeing some looks that normally go down, miss here in half number 2.
Absolutely.
Duff. Useo Sefi for 3. And Ishmael another rebound. Ahmed continuing his stellar play today. Two offensive weapons on the floor together in terms of Minette, and a blocking foul coming here on Webster. And he and Hansen.
Step back, man. Everybody
and now a technical foul coming on Duff for being the third man in.
Yeah.
Just unnecessary.
No, didn't need to.
Hansen and Webster, I'm sure, know each other from both high school basketball as well as AAU basketball. That was kind of exacerbated by Kobe Webster. Didn't need it to be that way. And we'll get an official explanation momentarily. But I believe the technical goes on Duff for Western Illinois. We'll see how it plays out.
You know, it's exactly right. The officials stepping in, taking a little bit of time. We'll see it here. This looks like a jump ball, but the call is a block. So now they can't disengage, and you'll see right there a shove on the part of C.J. Duff.
And it happened in front of Buddy Mayborg, our lead official for this afternoon's game. And again, Hansen was kind of walking away from the situation, and then Duff comes in and gives the extra nudge in the back, and a technical has been signaled. Our three officials still discussing it at center court.
Absolutely. And I think Billy Wright has to be upset with his especially with C.J. Duff. Look, we're up 4. We're playing well. We're the aggressor in the half. These are the kinds of plays that can give teams momentum, so you don't want to do it.
So the block was called on Webster, which is his second foul. Gilbeck and Clare each have 3 for Western. Ishmael has 3 for IUPUI. And if I'm reading Buddy Mayborg's lips right, he's saying shooting 2, pointing towards the IUPUI, in which you think would be Cameron Justice.
Right. Shoot 2, retain possession.
Because of the blocking foul that was called prior to the technical.
Exactly.
And if the technical's on Duff, that is his second personal foul.
Well, the foul on Webster on the block, and then the tech on C.J. Duff. So you administer the free throw, you administer the technical, and you return to action where it was.
So 2 for Justice.
All right, we got this sorted out now.
He's got 11.
And
one of 3 Jaguars in double digits.
Billy Wright pulls both his kids out, which is a good move. Calm them down, settle them down, get them some time, and then get them back in.
By the way, this is the first time that Kobe Webster has sat today.
Right. He needs a break anyway. And again, you see it. It's a tough call to make, but now they're kind of tangled up. And, you know, Kobe was right there. Jack Hansen trying to get that right leg out of the way. May have been a little contact.
So we'll see Kashawn Montague in for the first time for Western Illinois. Zion Young did play briefly in the first half as well.
A little different look offensively here.
Deep 3 for the big fella.
Look out now. Look out. It's going to go.
How about that roll?
Look out now. I'm not sure they designed it that way, Greg, but you know what? It's going down in the books.
Exactly how you cap off a 5-point trip.
Man, oh man.
First attempted 3 and made 3 of the year for Ahmed Ishmael. He knew he had it all along.
Yeah, nothing but the bottom.
7-0 spurt by IUPUI, and Cam Justice almost got his hands on that one.
How many times do you see it? You get a play like that, just lifts everybody up.
And for Western Illinois, Duff and Webster will come immediately back in. Big fella using every bit of the rim he could. He knew he had it all.
Ready? Absolutely.
I think my ride's due for an upgrade.
There's more than one way to fly. Hurry in for great deals at the Dodge Big Finish event.
Jason Gardner's team looking to continue their best start since the days of Ron Hunter. Last time that an IUPUI squad was 7-3. The start of season was 2009-2010, and a 5-second call. Western thought they had a timeout. Official says nope, didn't get it in time. A turnover against the Leathernecks.
How about the defensive effort out of the timeout? Great denial by the Jags. Now come down to get a good shot. Jags have shot 23%. Leathernecks have shot 29%. As good as well as they shot it in the first half. Oh my, what a play.
Johnson stumbles and Ishmael hammers it home.
Yeah, these have been emotional plays, Greg. You see people on the bench and in the stands jump up after these plays.
In the last 2 games, make it now last 3, Weatherford 13 assists, no turnovers. Johnson, tough shot, wouldn't go. 9 in a row now for IUPUI. Weatherford going right at Webster and draws the foul, and Webster now has his 3rd.
Well, this is how you share the basketball. You turn the corner, you feel the pressure,
and you get the nation's leading shot blocker out of the way.
Get him out of the way, off his feet. And again, Grant Weatherford's one of those emotional type players. Just with his very play at each end, can lift his teammates.
Had a great chance to catch up with Grant before today's game. Spent about a half an hour talking Indiana high school basketball with Grant.
He can talk it, yeah.
Entire family played at Hamilton Heights High School. And Weatherford has made his last 3 free throws after missing his first try in the opening half.
That's a nice spurt for IUPUI now. Kobe Webster back in.
11 in a row for IUPUI.
Duff is back in, as we expected.
Starting 5 back on the floor for the Leathernecks. Webster from the elbow, first points of the second half.
Right on cue. You put him back in, you calm him down. He gets a little bit of space, and he'll knock that shot down.
Former Park Tudor Panther. Manette, tough shot.
So maybe that's the one that gets him going, because it was tough. But, he is an emotional player himself.
It's an old school reference. He is very microwave-esque. You just let him keep going. Former Indiana All-Star from Terre Haute South, Hansen. Got a boot to it.
Well, good play, because you had Gilbeck posted up on the left block, and Pyle had to make a couple bounces to get it over to him.
Hansen has not scored today, but he's played some valuable minutes for IUPUI, as evidenced by getting his hands on that pass. Johnson, blocked by Ishmael. Kick out Webster for 3. Pyle, no on the tip in. Great crash by Johnson, and somehow Ishmael finally comes out there with it. Weatherford got fouled, but couldn't get the shot to go. Duff picks up his 3rd, and Western always got to be wondering what happened to the basket, because they're getting good looks that aren't falling.
They had great looks, and I will tell you what, they had every look you wanted. A little crossover to finish when he recognizes who's coming over, but the play set up by great board work by Ahmed Ishmael and his teammates, just staying right with it. And I don't know how Ishmael was able to get the rebound, Greg. He literally did come from nowhere, out of nowhere.
Rutherford now has made 4 consecutive free throws. Zion Young enters because Ben Pyle is currently on the bench getting his left lower leg or ankle looked at.
Pyle has given them great minutes now. I mean, especially there at the end of the half. He was very impressive. Now the Jags have bumped it up to 7.
It is a 15-2 run for IUPUI, and the 7-point lead is their largest of the game. And Duff and Justice, they're quite familiar with each other.
Yeah, they've been going at each other now the entire ball game.
There's a line from Hoosiers that Buddy says about Dentine that seems appropriate. As those two have gotten up close and personal. Good spirited battle going both ways. Webster got tied up, or is it a foul?
Oh, got him on the arm. Well, the out official has jump ball, but the official right on it calls it a foul.
3rd foul against Weatherford, and 2 shots coming up for Kobe Webster. His first free throws of the game. He is a 71% free throw shooter. And for those outside of the Indianapolis area, we reference Park Tudor, where Kobe played his high school basketball. That is the home of Yogi Ferrell, Trayvon Blewett, and Jaren Jackson. Well, we can reference multiple NBA players from one small high school here in Indianapolis. Tells you about the job that school in a short amount of time has done in producing amazing basketball talent.
Yeah, that is amazing basketball talent. There's no question.
Somewhat common knowledge for those of us from here, but for those that are not. Hansen for three. No. Ishmael the rebound, and then he got fouled by Webster, and I've got that as Webster's fourth.
That's a silly foul. You know what? How about Ahmed Ishmael, the long rebound, and he's able to get it? He's just been phenomenal, Greg. Phenomenal on the glass.
And Webster will have to check out with 9:41 left to go. So Montague will come back in. And Ishmael to the free throw line, where after missing his first two, he has made his last four. Played 1 year at Manhattan, sat out last year. From Cairo, Egypt. McCall will enter. And Weatherford will have a seat with 3 fouls.
Good breather. Needs it right now.
And frankly, save him with Webster off the floor.
Absolutely. It's a perfect move. Webster off. Give him time.
And Ahmed Ishmael has a new career high with 17 points. He will exit as Evan Hall returns. And a little 2-2-1 pickup here by IUPUI.
Yeah, I like it. Just change. Just for maybe one possession is all you need to do, but you don't want to give up a hoop.
Now a little 2-3 out of said zone trap.
I like it. You take, you got Webster out, so your knockdown three-point shooter's not in the lineup.
Duff.
But the guy who can put it on the deck and create, you got to find him.
11 for Duff, becomes the second Western player in double digits. Deep three, Manette. No.
Still zone. Try it one more time. Again, you scouting report, you got your best shooter out. Maybe take a chance. Do a little something different.
Montague, one of 2 natives of Canada on this Western Illinois roster. Paseo set for the other one. Young, the 3, got it.
I would think you've given up 5 points in the zone. You might probably change the next time.
And that's going to be an offensive foul on Cam Justice, led with the off arm.
How quickly things change. So you think about it, you take Weatherford and Ishmael out of the lineup, and quickly things change. I mean, you need to give them breathers. I'm not criticizing the choice. It's just that others have to step up.
Johnson. Not that time. But Duff out of there with it. And Duff with 13.
How about him?
And a timeout called by Jason Gardner. A 30-second timeout that'll turn to a full.
That's how quickly games change, Greg. This, it's a game of spurts, and right now Western Illinois has the spurt, and they've done it. They've made their last 3 shots in impressive fashion. IUPUI maybe a tiny bit quick.
Jags lead down to 1. We're back after this.
Ready? Absolutely.
I think my ride's due for an upgrade.
There's more than one way to fly. Hurry in for great deals at the Dodge Big Finish event.
This game has not featured a double-digit lead for either side. Just a minute and 33 seconds ago, IUPUI had their largest lead of 8. The last 7 points belong to Western Illinois, and down to a one-possession game. Manette off the screen. Hall could not save it.
But we said at the half it would be evenly played, and it has been. And both teams have, had their runs. So you got just under 8 minutes now. Who can get that next run? Who can get the one to get some real separation late in the game?
Grant Weatherford will return to the next dead ball for IUPUI. Webster sits with 4 fouls for Western. Gilbeck. And Young traveled.
Interesting that Western Illinois makes the run, Greg, without Kobe Webster. Think about it. He gets the 4th foul. IUPUI makes a couple substitutions, changes defenses, and the next thing you know, an unlikely combination of events for a team to go on a run.
Webster's only had 3 points about the last 20 minutes of the game because most of his points were in the first 10. He had 13 of Western's first 24. Justice, great move. Couldn't get the finish. And Gilbeck gets the rebound.
Missed opportunity. I think Cam thought he had it, just didn't get it up on the rim.
Both Justice and Manette 3 of 9 in this game for IUPUI. Justice tried to pick the pocket of Duff, couldn't do it. Now Duff in the lane, dishes to Gilbeck, and one. And Western to the lead.
Great penetration by Duff and a tremendous dish.
So McCall picks up his 3rd. And Gill back to the free throw line where he's 2 of 2 today.
Again, rotation's not like you like. Just a good move on the part of C.J. Duff. He's played well. Listen, he has played as well as you can play.
Uncontested rebound as Western had backed all their players off the line. Weatherford back in, replacing Manette, up and under and over. Gill back for the basket.
How about it? Great move, great recognition where he was, who was on him. Much needed hoop.
It was kind of like a roller coaster ride here at the State Fair.
Yeah, we're in the
dips
right place.
and turns that Weatherford had to use to get that one, and IUPUI back into a 2-3 zone. Last 2 times IUPUI's played this, Western scored baskets.
Well, you're trying to change something up, trying to get something going.
Duff, no, and Goss ensured that one wouldn't get a second look at the rim.
Absolutely. Hall's posted.
Up and over Gilbeck.
See, Evan Hall sprinted right to the rim. I mean, just as you talk about it, sprinted to the rim and got a great feed inside.
And now Western Illinois will take a 30-second timeout. 5:44 left to go. It's a Western team that, frankly, has impressed me more than a 4-6 record would. They've been good. IUPUI's had to match a fantastic effort from the Leathernecks today.
I think on that play, you see Evan Hall. I think if you're able to draw Gilbeck out a little bit, you'd have better luck. You just try to fake him and go up and under. That's not going to work. You try to get him out on the floor. Good timeout for Billy Wright. This is, here so much time. But you see both teams making their runs now. You bring Kobe Webster back in. I don't think IUPUI will stay zoned with him on the floor. You just got to continue to work and work. Question is, will you bring back Ishmael, try to play with 2 bigs, bring him back and play with Evan Hall, bring him back and play with or with Elijah Goss, because he gave you some tremendous minutes when he was out there.
So Webster returns with 4 fouls for Western. And McCall draws the offensive sign with Webster back. Jaguars go back into a man-to-man.
Jags are back with their starters, as they customarily do with about this time left on the clock.
Shot clock at 8. Duff for the freshman for the tie. Got it. His second three of the half.
How about Zion Young? He didn't hesitate. They guarded him well. They defended that possession well, except the kick out, and pulled the trigger on him.
Young man from a traditional powerhouse, Simeon High School in Chicago. Makes his second three to tie us at 65. Justice for the lead.
Got some space. One of the few times that C.J. Duff gave him some space. Great pass by Grant Weatherford.
Johnson's runner. Good work by Goss. And eventually grabs the rebound. Weatherford off to the races.
Since he's come back in, he's turned things around, Greg. Grant Weatherford, that type of guy.
Weatherford has been the energy. Justice has been the answer. Gilbeck. I think he lost that one going out.
He did.
Weatherford pushes the tempo yet again. Justice. Gilbeck kicked that one.
Good call. Good call.
Officials caught that one. That will allow everybody to kind of catch their breath for IUPUI.
Well stated.
21st consecutive year these two teams have played each other.
Well, you can tell. I mean, they are going to have gone at each other hard from the tip.
Hall, tough shot. Great crash by McCall, but eventually Johnson out of there with it for Western Illinois.
You know, you're always conscious of Gilbeck. He may not get the block, but he does make you alter what you're trying to do.
Wow.
Holy moly.
Banked in three by Webster.
And I thought he got fouled on the arm, as does Billy Wright. What a shot. Oh, my God.
His first three-point field goal since the opening 10 minutes of the game. And every time there's a bit of daylight in either direction, the door slams shut.
Yeah, that was just a big-time play.
McCall. Justice. 18 for Cameron Justice.
I love his patience, Greg. You know, he's been forcing some things earlier in the day, but now has allowed himself to let things come to him.
Duff trying to answer. No, and Weatherford there for the rebound.
All right, this time now, so you got 5 with 3 minutes to play. You really need to focus on good possessions every time down.
Little dribble weave for IUPUI. And Justice.
Nope. Oh,
taken away by Johnson. Left the layup short.
Great hustle by Grant Weatherford to make him leave it short. Now get a better possession here. Take care of the basketball. Get more movement. Not enough movement the last time they had the ball.
Both teams could use that media timeout.
I think you're right. So could we.
McCall around Gilbeck.
How did it get
well,
in?
Let me tell you how. Gilbeck got his hand caught in the net and couldn't block the shot.
Oh, my goodness.
He's running the floor going, what happened?
Right.
The net snagged his hand, and it gave McCall a free look. 7 in a row for IUPUI. And Webster trying to weave through traffic. Duff for 3. No. And Hall, the uncontested rebound. And the last 2 times that Western has taken threes, there's been nobody in the low block to grab a board.
No, not at all. And they've had really good looks.
And IUPUI doesn't want to take a time in here because they're only down to 1 left to go in the game.
Yeah.
But knowing that media would be kind of good for him right now. The slip to Hall. Hall to the basket. And one.
What a great pass to the Kentucky teammates. I'm telling you what a great pass and a spectacular finish.
And what a time for your largest lead of the game for IUPUI. It grows to 9 with 1:41 left to go. They've been saying it for years in Hindman. Justice to Hall to the basket.
Ready? Absolutely.
I think my ride's due for an upgrade.
There's more than one way to fly. Hurry in for great deals at the Dodge Big Finish event.
Last time the Jaguars got to this good of a start in the season, they ended up 25-11. It was also the last time they played in a postseason tournament, the CBI, some 9 years ago. There's a lot of season left to go. In fact, a couple of weeks from now, the most important part of the season begins in Horizon League play, with the Jaguars giving their fans something to feel good about heading into the holidays.
Well, they should. There's a lot of time left. I mean, you're a 3-possession game, and you know that certainly Western Illinois has some offensive weapons that can score in a hurry, and Kobe Webster one of them.
10-point game, first double-digit lead in today's game. Hall became the 5th different IUPUI player in double digits. Young misses that free throw, or the three-pointer rather, and Goss is there for the pull down.
Now make sure if you're Evan Hall, stay out of harm's way and don't get fouled. You know, don't let them foul you and put you at the line.
Goss with 9 boards, a board away from a double-double. Shot clock at 10, Justice. But McCall extends the possession.
Big rebound, big long rebound. Now you're under a minute.
Each team now with 12 offensive rebounds.
You know you're going to get fouled, so take care of it.
And Webster's got 4, which is why Weatherford wanted to keep the basketball, and Webster fouls out with 49 seconds left to play.
Know you're going to get fouled. Just be strong and play through it, and then make your free throws.
Heady play by Weatherford.
Yeah, well, that's what he does. He's got that great, as we call it, he's got that great basketball IQ.
Younger brother plays collegiate football at Miami, Ohio. Grant, a pretty fair football player in his own right.
He was.
Weatherford now with a dozen. Justice, Hall, Goss, Ishmael, and Weatherford all in double figures today. And Weatherford now has made 7 consecutive free throws to end the game. Johnson a deep 3. Not there, and Hall the rebound, and no need for the look-ahead pass. Just take the fouls if they give them to you, but primarily put this one on ice if you're IUPUI. Let me say this, I was impressed with Western Illinois today. They're not a bad basketball team.
Yeah, I'm bewildered as to why they've lost 5 of their last 7, now 6 of their last 8. And as you pointed out, gave up big double-digit leads in the last 2. They're a well-drilled, well-schooled team, play hard, have some great weapons, but this is a big win. This is a really good win for the Jags. The manner in which they did it, you get the lead in the second half, you give it away, and then you find a way to bounce back. That's impressive.
Pair of free throws for Justice. He crosses the 20-point barrier for a 7th time in 11 games this season. Montague off the window, no. Fight for the loose ball. Goss couldn't hang on to it. It'll be a team rebound, and that may cost Elijah his double-double. He'll have to settle for not having one of those today. And Western, I think, will likely let IUPUI simply take the air out of this one and head to the upcoming 5-game road trip, 5 games north of 500 for the first time in a long time.
Well, they've played hard, played together. I think that's the biggest thing. And, Greg, they've played it at both ends of the floor.
Jaguars 8-3. Western falls to 4-7. And IUPUI closes out a 5-game homestand, 4-1. Final score today, 82-68 in favor of IUPUI.
Well, a great win, a solid win on a day when you needed everybody to step up and make plays. The Jags got that from a lot of different guys.
Jaguars are next in action on Tuesday night when they take on another former Summit League foe in Purdue-Fort Wayne. That game at the Gates Center in Fort Wayne, a 7 o'clock tip time. The next time that we'll have IUPUI basketball for you will be on Thursday, January the 10th. when IUPUI plays host to Cleveland State. Their first of 9 Horizon League home games on the slate for 2019. For Bob Lovell and our entire Tupelo Raycom crew, this is Greg Rakestraw. We always thank you for watching IUPUI and Horizon League basketball right here on ESPN+.
You're watching college basketball from Charleston, South Carolina, inside McAllister Fieldhouse as the Citadel Bulldogs welcome the Southeast Missouri State Redhawks. And with that, we say hello to you this afternoon from Charleston, South Carolina. Kendall Lewis alongside Jansen Brown. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Well, Jansen, these two teams ready to get back to play because it's been a long layoff, exam break, but they can now focus on basketball the next couple of weeks.
You're right, really being able to focus on some of those weaknesses that they saw in the first couple of games, cut those out of their playmaking ability and really go into hone some of their positive things and bring that this afternoon.
For the Southeast Missouri State Redhawks, Skylar Hogan can really shoot the basketball. What else makes him so special?
Skylar Hogan, a 45% three-point shooter on the year.